Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda, and please welcome to our Operation Freedom platform, WeThePeopleProcessing.com. You know, are you tired of being threatened to be canceled just because you have a company focused on liberty and freedom? Well, worry no more, folks. WeThePeopleProcessing.com is your go-to merchant services, freedom-based company to provide business service payment solutions. We the People Processing provides their clients a cancel culture-free platform which is domestically based. They provide competitive rates, no contracts with next-day funding, a fully vetted and like-minded financial infrastructure, and full support for integrations, implementation, and e-commerce efforts. Bottom line, WeThePeopleProcessing.com focuses on defending your company's free market growth, values, and future. Check them out at www.WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Once you're on the site, enter in password Operation Freedom or call 855-499-2024. That's WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Then, when on the website, enter Operation Freedom as your password or call 855-499-2024.
Mr. President-elect, go ahead. Can you state categorically a question? Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. I'd like to thank you for joining me today. We are available 24/7 at davejanda.com with extra shows, extra content, extra guests, extra analysis, archives to all of our shows. We have a tremendous amount of content on our free side of the equation. It's in the film strip area with all these great interviews that the bought-off lamestream fake media don't want you to know about. We are there 24/7. We also have the subscription service, 30 cents a day for the most in-depth information you will ever get. We're on topics I can't go into on this platform. I can't go into on Rumble. I can't go into on the radio. Why? Because in all areas, there's still deep state choke points that censor, block, and actually completely get rid of, torch that content, which is why davejanda.com exists. We hope you'll become part of our freedom family. The censorship on this platform continues. Our view counts, the notifications, your comments are actually deleted. Actually, I was recently watching one of our videos we just put out on sudden death in sport. And if you haven't seen that, you need to, and then pass it on to others. It's a gift that keeps on giving. It will put you far ahead of this curve. And by the way, one of the reasons why we're able to post some of the things we can on this platform comes down to how I word things, how I phrase things, because at davejanda.com, we have an IT team that's the best in the business. And they alert me to phraseology and words of what I need to avoid, potholes, actually crevasses, that will protect me based on their analysis of AI platforms on this situation, on this platform. In addition, there are things that they can do so that the AI platforms from here don't pick up what I'm saying. Which is why we can get some of this stuff out. But understand, the real heavy, best content is at davejanda.com. There's no suppression because it's our sandbox. And it's heavily protected, our IT team. So we spend thousands of dollars. I spend thousands of dollars every month. People say, Dave, stop doing the YouTubes because these are people that are getting your content, although it's modified, but they're getting your content and they're not paying a thing. And 30 cents a day, come on. Well, I get it because, yes, our monetization is yellowed. For the first several weeks, these videos come up, which means, you get $3 a video when we have expenses for our IT team to make it so that you can see this. So if you want these to continue on YouTube, there's such a thing as supporting entities that are helping you. And if we're helping you, then it's not too much for you to spend 30 cents a day to be a subscriber at davejanda.com. This from Ayn Rand from Atlas Shrugged. Quote, "When you see that in order to produce, you need to obtain permission from men who produce nothing. When you see that money is flowing to those who deal not in goods but in favors. When you see that men get richer by graft and by pull than work." Do the Biden family come to mind when you hear that? Right. But this was written in 1957, by the way, by Ayn Rand. "And your laws don't protect you against them, but protect them against you. When you see corruption being rewarded and honesty becoming a self-sacrifice, you may know that your society is doomed," end quote. It is doomed. If it were not for the independent media, this society would have been long since completely deconstructed. It's the independent media, and it's people who tune into the independent media and then take the messages that we provide on this platform and other independent media platforms and take it to your friends and families and loved ones and coworkers and neighbors to educate and empower them. That has so far, it's still an active process, saved our society. Groundhog Day kind of fits in with the Biden crime family. Someone once said, "What's the difference between Punxsutawney Phil," that Pennsylvania-based groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil, and Joe Biden? What's the difference between Punxsutawney Phil and Joe Biden? One is a disgusting, lazy rodent that is always wrong. The other is a groundhog that is right 50% of the time. And as we unveil more of what I call Mr. Biden's neighborhood, right? We all grew up with Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Well, this is Mr. Biden's neighborhood, and this ain't Mr. Rogers' neighborhood by any stretch of the imagination. But every day that goes by, there are more and more revelations of not just dishonesty and not just corruptness, but in a word, treason. Many people outside that window in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor will say, "Well, we couldn't have anticipated this." Oh yeah, you could, if you would have listened. If they wouldn't have been such zealots with their heads up their derrieres. Why do I say that? Because I can tell you on this platform, we told you months before that whatever that goat rodeo was in November of 2020, that this guy and this family were bought and paid for foreign agents of multiple countries: Russia, China, Ukraine, and Middle Eastern countries, just to name a few. And we warned people that if Il Demente, as I call him, just like Il Duce with the fascist, remember from Italy in the World War II? Well, Il Demente, remember him standing in front of Constitution Hall, the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence, and it was bathed in blood red, and the flags there, and the Marines there, and screaming and dictating about how you needed to have your rights removed. Remember that? We told you that this guy was more than corrupt and was more than a puppet of the syndicate. That he was there and installed We warned people ahead of time to bring down the speed bump to the globalist cult and their new world order. And look at what's transpired. What's happened is that even out there, people say, how can you live in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor? I mean, well, I'll tell you why. When you live behind what I consider to be, and many people consider to be, enemy lines, enemies of the state, enemies of our freedom, by living behind enemy lines, you get incredible foresight of what's going to happen down the line from their side of the equation. It's not because I'm stupid that I live in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor. It's because it gives me insight. And let me tell you, right now, right out there, they're waking up. Oh, big time. And they're waking up because they've come to the realization that all of us that have been saying this for years are not conspiracy theorists. It might be conspiracy, but it's conspiracy reality. And at the most recent globalist cult meeting in Davos, where they had to have 5,000 Swiss Army personnel protect them because they're so loved, I believe one of the hot topics, not in the public meetings, by the way, reportedly, their attendance was 50% of people that said they were going to show up didn't show up. Soros didn't show up. Gates didn't show up. Schwab showed up late. Now they're talking about moving Schwab out. Why? Because the cult moves the puppets out of the way when they think they can't carry the ball down the field, the totalitarian ball down the field and get it across the goal line. That's why they moved Boris Johnson out. That's why they just moved this henchwoman in New Zealand out, the lockdown queen. Jacinda Ardern. And now, I believe behind closed doors, they decided, you know what? Mr. Biden's neighborhood isn't getting it done. Oh, that wonderful old cuddly guy. No. So now, we're seeing reported through the bought-off lamestream fake media, remember, a tentacle of the deep state, 6 more classified documents discovered at the Biden house. They go back as far as his time in the Senate. Hunter Biden lived in classified document house, where the classified documents were found in the house, while raking in millions through Chinese intelligence ties. Tip of the Biden crime family iceberg money laundering operation. Can you say limited hangout? That's what we say. The House Oversight Chair. The House Oversight Chair. This is from Zero Hedge. Now remember, for years, quote, Republicans. And remember, there's one political party in Washington. I've told you this for many years. The Republicans owned and operated by the same criminal syndicate. Where was the Jim Jordan, I'm going to take my coat off and show you. I work with my shirt because I'm working so hard. And Lindsey Graham, right? That globalist cult member. It's all a con. It's all controlled opposition. It's all limited hangout. In other words, they tell you a little part of it, but they don't go at the final stretch. What did they do for years to expose this? It was all exposed through the independent media. And then, of course, Tucker Carlson comes in late to the party, and everybody goes, oh, thank you. Meanwhile, Tucker should have been talking about this years ago, like those of us in the independent media have been, that have been taking all the heat and taking all the censorship and getting thrown off Twitter, still thrown off Twitter. House Oversight Chair. China donations to Penn Biden Center may have influenced U.S. policy. We were talking about his relationship with the Biden Center at the University of Pennsylvania for years. Nobody would talk about it outside the independent media. No. Now you got this. Where was this person? Where was this person for the past 4 years? The chair of the House Oversight Committee demanded the University of Pennsylvania, home of the infamous Penn Biden Center, where classified documents were found in November, answer questions over anonymous donations from China, which Could well add up to over $50 million. When this came out, China sent Hunter Biden a 3-carat diamond at about the same time Joe Biden was stealing and relocating classified documents. House Oversight Chairman Jim Comer, okay, fine, Republican, Kentucky. Comer stated that Hunter Biden was given a 3.2-carat diamond from China at the same time Joe Biden was stealing classified documents and moving them around to his homes and offices. Where you been, Jim? And then, it's been determined that Hunter Biden was paying $49,910 for rent to Joe Biden every month. What? From Wendell Husbo, Hunter's $49,910 monthly rent matches a deposit at the House of Sweden related to his venture with CEFC China Energy Corporation. So, China Energy Corporation put money in Hunter Biden's House of Sweden account of $49,910 every month. And then Hunter cut a check to the big guy for $49,910 every month. It doesn't sound like 10% to me, does it? It sounds like more like, wow, 100%. The $49,910 amount also matches the money he claimed to pay in rent while living at Joe's Biden, Delaware home where these classified documents were found. Then we have Biden removed his tax documents from campaign webpage just 3 weeks before the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, well, Joe, we got some heat coming in. Hey, you don't want that kind of stuff to be showing up, huh? But what did Biden respond? Remember, all these puppets, whether they're Bidens or Obamas or Bushes or Romneys or McConnell's or McCarthy's. I know McCarthy's doing some things. Controlled opposition. Just look at his background. Look at what he pushed in the past. Ding, ding, ding. What's Biden's response? Remember, all these people, all these puppets are sociopaths. And some are psychopaths. Quote, I have no regrets, end quote. Spoken like a true sociopath. No, I can't say that. Take that out. That was from Jonathan Turley. Jonathan Turley said the word in front of Biden that should never be said. Biden breaks long silence over classified documents with shattering admission. Jonathan Turley, a legal professor who used to be at George Washington University. I believe he's on his own now. Not exactly a conservative. Joe Biden has something he wants the public to know. After discovery of highly classified material in Biden's former office, his garage and library, amongst other places, plus the Penn Library, Penn Biden Center, Joe Biden wanted to make one thing and only one thing perfectly clear. Quote, I have no regrets, end quote. And then we have this from Jim Heft. Hunter Biden was receiving classified State Department briefings on a regular basis. Let that sink in. You know, the guy who was crawling around on the ground, he told CBS News, smoking Parmesan cheese because he thought it was crack. The guys in those videos, a number of people who have seen the Hunter Biden laptop videos with him involved in criminal sexual activity with potentially underage people. Hunter Biden was receiving classified State Department briefings on a regular basis used to promote Biden family business. John Paul Isaac Mack, this is the guy who was the computer repairman where Hunter brought his laptop in that then didn't claim it. Then this John Paul Isaac Mack saw it as he was fixing it, the hard drive, and what was on it, and said, oh my gosh. And for months tried to get the FBI involved, and they refused until he actually had to bring it there. Then the FBI still didn't do anything about it? Could it be because they were colluding? Yeah. The concern from the laptop was Hunter, and the New York Post has done, author by the name of Devine, a reporter, outstanding work on this. Hunter was receiving classified State Department briefings on a regular basis and was using this information to promote the Biden family business worldwide. Gets interesting, even more. In an email Hunter sent to his business partner, Devon Archer, he stated, quote, "We should also find a highly credible and discreet firm, CIA, to provide due diligence and deep information for us on an ongoing basis. The kind of people that can get us information that's not available through a Google search and some phone calls. CIA. We can use our own funds to pay for it, and I'm sure your buddies down in Little Creek being the U.S. Navy's Little Creek amphibious base, located near Norfolk, Virginia, was talking about, have some trusted independent contacts that do that kind of work." Hunter appears to be saying to Devon Archer in this April 2014 email, 2014, who was president in 2014? Let's see, that would be Barack Obama in his second term. Who was the vice president? Oh, that would be Joe Biden. So Joe Biden is vice president, and Obama would have had to know about this, and so would have Hillary had to know about this if this was going on for years before that. As Secretary of State, John Kerry was the Secretary of State, I believe, at this point. Would have to know that Barack Obama, as president, Joe Biden as vice president, and the Secretary of State, Clinton, Kerry, would have had to know that Hunter Biden was getting classified briefings by the State Department. What? This cocaine addict? Yeah. Hunter appears to be saying to Devon Archer in this April 2014 email to reach out to his friends who might know some contacts with the CIA to help us with Burisma, that energy company in Ukraine. It appears Hunter's hints were understood. According to the Illustrated Primer, we see that Hunter and Devon Archer did find a CIA official to put on the Burisma board. Somebody's name I have mentioned years ago, way before the election. A guy by the name of Joseph Cofer Black. And I pointed out who Cofer Black had been working for, which might explain why this individual is so anti-Trump, so let's just move on from this Ukraine thing. Black was a former CIA official who also joined Burisma's board in 2019. Cofer Black, is also connected to who? Senator Mitt Romney. Oh, imagine my shock. Not. I've been telling you this for years. This Cofer Black had served as an advisor for national security on Romney's 2008 campaign, as well as a special advisor for national security and foreign policies on Romney's 2012 failed presidential campaign. Yeah. And there you have it. It's all been a scam and a con perpetrated by the globalist cult using their puppets, whether it's Obama or Biden or the Bushes or Romney or McConnell or what, you fill in the blank. 99.9% of those in Washington, D.C., and the majority, vast majority, of people in your state legislature, every state legislature, and even as far down as locally, are networked with this cult that wants to send us all down the Freedom River to nowhere and eliminate our freedoms. Mr. Biden's neighborhood. Well, I believe Mr. Biden's neighborhood is about to change. You see, I believe why we're starting to hear all this stuff through the bought-off lamestream fake media is because the totalitarian thugs, just as they determined with Boris Johnson, just as they determined with Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand, just as they're about to determine with good old Trudeau in Canada. I should point that way because Canada's that way about not very far, 20 miles. they're about to move Joe out. Because even the people in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor have figured out the con. Yeah. So they're going to move him out. The problem is Harris, who they thought was going to be okay, is not okay. I'll be kind. She's a babbling idiot. Shrewd, but a babbling idiot. And they know she can't carry the ball either. Which is why they're going to move their puppet from California in. Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom, I believe there's a high probability, will be the 2024 nominee. On whatever, the D side, whatever, the G side. They're both G sides for the most part. And then he's going to pick a VP, and many people are going to say, it's Michelle Obama. Understand something. I don't think that's the case, because she can't afford the pay cut, and she cannot afford the magnifying glass on her. Okay? So what you're going to see is another con. Remember, one of the biggest globalist cult members is Dick Cheney. And I believe you're going to see Gavin Newsom reach across the aisle. Remember, there is no aisle, but still many people believe that. Reach across the aisle, and he's going to, well, Liz Cheney. Watch. That who's the old man Cheney's pushing for. Okay? That's who the Bushes are pushing for. That's who Romney's pushing for. That's who McConnell's pushing for. That's where the cult's pushing. So, what do? Well, first of all, you realize the con. And you realize what's up. And then, if you will, you head them off at the pass. And the way you head them off at the pass is that the cult members are cockroaches. They can't not stand the light, in particular the light of truth. So your role is to become a huge beacon of light to your family and friends and bring this information forward to them and get them ahead of the curve, because as it starts to transpire and they see this happening and realize what has been happening because you've told them and you passed this video on, all our videos and other independent media videos, they go, whoa. Not going to let this happen. That's the way we undermine this and that. It's that simple. Remember, information is power. That's why they propagandize you 24/7 with misinformation and disinformation. And that's what we're here to do, the opposite. To give you the truth so you can act upon it. But because of the censorship on this and every social media platform, and even on the radio with those choke points, I can only go so far. DaveJanda.com. You will never be disappointed in what you walk away with information-wise from that site. Try it. What is that? Try it, you'll like it? No. Try it. You'll love it. And you'll act upon it. That's what happens when you go to DaveJanda.com. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.